Hello and welcome to Behind the Scenes Audio. Last week we did cameras, this week we'll do audio, next week we should be back to cars. But school's still going. I've been recording a lot of videos for school. In fact, I'll talk about one during this video because it had to do with, it was an audio problem and I'll tell you how I fixed it. Okay, let's talk about audio. So as I told you last week when we were talking about cameras, I said the reason I started all this was to record my lectures for school. The YouTube channel idea came later. And so for that, I got this program called Camtasia, which is it's a video editor, but it's optimized around recording your screen off of your computer. So you record your screen off your computer, and then you can go in and do editing and stuff. And so see, what I was going to do was I was going to record my screen, and then with the 90D that I bought, I was going to stand in front of a green screen over here. Actually, the green screen, if you look up, you can see it way up high. I have the white screen dropped right now, so I can put colored lights on. It's prettier. I don't want that side. Come back for the video where I'll talk about my office and all this kind of stuff. But right, let's stick with the camera. Let's stick with the audio. So I got that camera. Well, that camera doesn't have a microphone, and for Camtasia actually kind of assumes you're going to use a webcam to do your recording, because again, it's like for teachers, so they kind of assume you're going to do webcam. Well, so I have a fancier camera, but no microphone, so I need a microphone. So I went out and watched a bunch of YouTube videos, which is, you know, what you do when you want to buy something. And I settled on this baby, the Blue Yeti. Very popular on the YouTube. Everybody seems to have it. Lots of people use it. Got one. It's a USB microphone. You just plug it into your computer. It's plug and play. Actually, it's really not. Windows really sucks when you put on a USB microphone. But that's their videos. Go watch them. Anyway, so I got this. So what I would do is I would turn on the Canon, and I would stand over here in front of the green screen and give my lectures. And see, and I'd flip this around like this to record the audio. And I'm standing right here, so my mouth is going to be about right there, about 2 to 3 feet from the thing. And then when I'm done, I'd flip it back around. It worked fine. I was close enough to the microphone that it picked up, but there was a little bit of echoing. So again, and as you dig deeper into audio, you'll learn these things, like I did, as I dug deeper. It bounces, the sounds bounce off the walls and the ceiling. So I got some acoustic panels for the walls here. And in fact, that's one behind me there. It looks like a painting. That's the whole idea. See, that's why they cost $400, because they blend right in. I'll put a link below. They're really nice. They work really well. I have one over here too. That's why I keep pointing behind you. There's one on either side. And again, so that catches the bouncing off the walls. Now, one of the problems I had was bouncing off of this wall, and there's a window over here. So as you can see by the blackness, that's a blackout curtain, sound deadening curtain. So I got kind of a black heavy drape here that absorbs sound and doesn't let the light from that window come through. So you can't tell if it's day or night when I'm shooting the videos in here, and people outside can't see all these bright lights. So anyway, so this was the first microphone. Worked fine. Oh, and for my Zoom calls, I would just flip it around like this. You know, Zoom classes and stuff, and then use the webcam. Did I mention this? There's a webcam here, the Logitech 4K webcam. It has a crappy microphone in it too. Don't use that. I use this one. Well, I did. And I use it for Zoom calls. Okay. The one issue I had was the audio was being recorded with the screen recording. So the video of me, I had to match it up, and fortunately, most of the time when I would change slides, I tend to do this. I boom, when I click, click, click. Well, fortunately, that means I could line up the slide changing with that motion, but it's still not exact. I mean, I'm close, but I'm not exact. So that was a problem, but not a terrible problem. But I decided I could fix that somewhat by getting a microphone for the camera. And by the way, all the experts on YouTube say you need to have a microphone that records onto your video, with your video. So I went out and, well, actually it's in my pocket because I'm using it right now. The Rode Wireless Go. This is the transmitter. There's a receiver sitting on top of that camera, plugged in with one of those little red cords that I waved around during the camera video. So this is the receiver. I mean, this is the transmitter. It sends over to that receiver, who then dumps it, records it with the video. By the way, the Rode Wireless Go had been out for a while, so the black ones were completely sold out, like around the world. All they had were white. So I got white ones. Now I did get a black lavalier mic at the time, so that my mic up here would be black. By the way, since I no longer, well, you're going to see where this goes, but I got a white lavalier mic to match this, and for when I'm wearing white outfits. So anyway, so that's the Rode Wireless Go, and it's a really, really good little system. And bonus for me, I now have the audio being recorded onto the 90D, onto the video with me and the green screen. Plus, I still had this mic, I was still using this mic to record onto the screen recording. So now, I don't know if you can, I don't know how well you can see this, but if you see here, there's a whole bunch of audio waves, audio tracks, because, you know, one for here. Well, actually, this one has stereo, so there's like two for over here and one for over here. And then I could line them up. So it made lining up the clips. So the screen recording and me talking could be perfectly aligned. Well, almost perfectly, because you had to do it by eyeball. So that's how I rolled for quite a while. And then I started this channel, the YouTube channel, Dr. Wigo on Cars, in around November, December. And I had the Rode Wireless Go, and I had the thing, and as you know, what I do is I take that camera on a tripod out into the garage. And then I bought a bunch of other little cameras, which we went through last week. Well, all those little action cameras that I showed you last week, they all have their own microphones. So, and I like to have a lot of angles, as I talked about last week. That's why I have so many of those little cameras. But now what I can do is with all those little cameras, with their own soundtracks, is if you look over here, if you can see, there's 3 green audio tracks. And I can use those to line up. And that's how I get all my multiple angles into sync, so that when I have like one, you know, a picture here, a picture here, a picture here, they're all in sync because I have it lined up on the audio. Worked great. Well, it worked kind of great. One of the problems with Camtasia is that I had to do that by eyeball. And no matter how much you zoom in, it's really hard to get all the audio things. So that's why some of especially some of my first ones, the earlier on where I had multiple camera angles, the video sounds a little echoey. It's because, you know, if you don't line it up just right, if you're like a fraction of a second off, then you have that little bit of echo. And that happened. So I discovered another program for video editing called Davinci Resolve. And Davinci Resolve has a feature in it called, wait for it, Auto Align Clips by Waveform. So basically, and by the way, this is Davinci Resolve on the screen here. So basically, you select your clips and you tell it to auto align, and then it takes all these little all the little waveforms and moves the clips so they all sync up so that the sounds are exactly lined up. Fantastic. And since I started doing that, you don't hear that little echo anymore. Although sometimes I just mute out some of them. The other problem, and this is an audio problem, right? These little cameras, when they're far away, they can pick up extraneous noises. Again, when I'm out in the garage, they'll pick up like the air conditioning system, which is out next to the garage. Whereas these lavalier mics do not have that issue. That's why even if you get the wireless Go, but there is a little mic built in, right? There's a little microphone built in right there. But again, it's going to pick up wind noise, although they do have these lovely little muffs that you can stick, little mustaches. Oh, and for the white one, we have a white one. Anyway, where was I? Oh, wind noise and other kind of noises. Again, lavalier mics. Everyone on YouTube, well, maybe not everybody, but most people on YouTube agree the lavalier mic is the way to go because it puts it near your mouth. You don't get a lot of extraneous noise. Okay, so I'm rolling along that way, and y'all have seen, you can go back and watch my early videos, and that they were all shot that way, and then lined up, and then later when I got Resolve, but around February, Rode introduced this. I was using it as an example of a Rode Wireless Go. This is actually the Rode Wireless Go 2. Rode Wireless Go 2 has a major improvement over the original, which is, well, actually has two major improvements. The first major improvement is it's one receiver with two transmitters. So instead of one of these, it comes with two of these. So, and when they get over to the receiver puts it into the left and right channel. So it records on the camera over there on the 90D as a stereo soundtrack. So if you have two people, you can each have their own mic, you give them their own lavaliers, you can do interviews, and their voices will be from the left and right channel because they'll each get their own channel. It makes the audio a lot cleaner. It's a really nice system. By the way, those of you with eagle eyes may have noticed that in some of my most recent videos, if you look close, you might spot two lavalier mics. You might see one here and one over here because I was noticing that it was annoying me that when I watched my videos on my TV in my living room, all my voice, all the talking came out of the left channel because, again, I was only using one of these and it was being recorded onto the left channel. So I didn't have a right channel, so everything was coming from over there. So now I wear two of these, so there's a left and a right channel. But the other major improvement of this, which I did have a point that I was trying to get to, this has memory in it and can record up to 8 hours of audio, which means if there's a problem, if you get out of range, if there's a disconnection, you still have the audio is still recorded on here. So if it doesn't make it to the receiver for some reason and into the camera, you still have it. Just this week, I recorded a video for my class, and I don't know what happened. There were some glitches, like interference, like hush. I don't know. I don't know, so I don't know how to fix it. But I was going to have to reshoot the video, and then I went, oh wait, there's backup in here. So sure enough, I plugged this in with a USB cable into my computer. I download the audio file and the audio track on here. Perfect, no glitch. And I go into Davinci Resolve, and I say auto align. I throw the wave, the audio off of here in as a clip, audio clip, and I say auto align clips by waveform. It lines them up. And boom, and then I just, on the bad track, again, you probably can't see this, but there's a little red M there for mute. The bad track gets muted. The extra track that I've added on out of here, out of the WAV file, then replaces it. Fantastic. And by the way, I think they're the same price that the original one was. So you get 2 receivers for the price that, and the original only came with 1 receiver. And it's better. I don't know how, again, this technology, that's how it works. Things get better and cheaper. Okay, so this is how I roll now. I use the Wireless Go 2 with the 90D, and you often use 2 of these, with 2 lavalier mics on me. Okay. Now, when I went to order my Wireless Go 2, they were new, so they were kind of hard to find. So I had to do a little searching. So I'm looking on Amazon, I'm looking on Autorama, I'm looking on B&H Photo. Now, meanwhile, toward the fall of last year, Elgato, who's known for making video editing equipment and stuff, they came out with a couple of microphones, the Elgato 3 and the Elgato 5, I believe. I'll put the information down below. And I wanted one, but they were almost impossible to find. And if you could find them, you couldn't find the accessories. They were just, anyway. Well, now fast forward to March of this year when I'm looking to order these, which came out in February, I believe. And I found these, I found these at Autorama. But while I was looking across Autorama and Amazon, I saw that these were in stock, back available. So I said, well, I wanted one, so I went ahead and bought one. So this is the Elgato, I believe this is the 5. Information will be down below. But what it is, it's a lot like that mic, but it comes with these accessories. This is a shock mount. So that vibrations, like if you're bumping into your table that it's mounted on, that your arm is mounted on, those vibrations don't make it into the mic because the shock mount absorbs them. And it has this really cool optional pop filter, which just clips right on to the mount, onto the mic in the mount. And this keeps those plosive sounds from, when you're talking right into the mic, sometimes you hear, when they kind of spit into the microphone. Well, this stops that from happening. By the way, for the Blue Yeti, I had to buy a third-party one, which kind of is funky looking, and well, you can see. Didn't really care for it. But you kind of need one of those if you're going to be close to the mic. So anyway, so I got this, and I love this. And this is now my go-to USB mic. This guy sits here. The Blue Yeti sits in this position, out of the way. He's just my backup. He's still a good mic, but he's just my backup. I use this guy. And I use this guy for Zoom things, right? Because there's my webcam, and here's... Oh, by the way, when I use this for Zoom, when you flip it around, it was not in the frame. So it looked like I didn't have a microphone. This I have in the frame. Well, hey, this is way cooler looking, so I want it in the frame. But also, just the way my desk space works out, it's in the frame. So this is now my voiceover mic. So if you watched the video a couple weeks ago, where I did voiceover on the hood scoop decal. This was the mic I recorded that voiceover on, sitting right here, looking at the video. I love it. Oh, and I have this and the webcam are plugged into, I can't show you the one they're plugged into because it's all, but this is what it is. It's a RSHTECH USB 3.0 hub. But the main thing about it is there's these buttons. Each port has a button next to it that will basically turns the port, disconnects the port. So I have one of those. Actually, the one over here is a 7 port. But so when I'm not using this microphone or the webcam, I just press those buttons and it turns off the port. And by the way, I don't know if you can see them. There's these little indicator lights, so you can see if the port is on and in use. Is on. Actually, I think and in use. But if it's on, the light's on. So see, all my other, those are on, but this is off and that's off because I don't want my microphone and webcam being used. Okay. So that's how I roll now. I primarily rely on the Rode Wireless Go 2 through the Canon, although I also use the internal mics primarily for on all the action cameras for syncing purposes. Right now I'm using my old original Wireless Go on one of the DJI Osmo action cameras. The same one I used last week, except by the way, last week I did not use the lavalier mic. I used the mic in the camera, and it was just right across the dining room table from me. But if you go back and listen, the audio's not that good. It's a little echoey again because the mic was far away and there were things were bouncing off the walls. So this week I'm trying it with the lavalier mic with the Wireless Go. By the way, I had to buy a little adapter. I will put links to all these things, like including the adapter, in the comments below. But that's what you've been listening. That's what you're listening to right now, is the original Wireless Go being routed onto, being recorded under the video by the DJI Osmo Action. So, that's it. That's my audio. Now, we'll come back and do another behind the scenes in this room because I'm sure you're looking around going, well, that computer looks pretty cool. Yes, that's my editing computer. By the way, there's another desk and another computer behind that backdrop. I mean, right behind it. I mean, like, you can touch the chair, the desk chair through the thing. But that's my editing computer. And you can see I have a really nice big wide monitor. We'll come back and do this. Oh, and I have this backdrop system is really neat. It's from Manfrotto. I'll do another video in the office and the lighting, all my lighting. So we'll do another behind the scenes for the office and the lighting and then down the road, no time soon, I will probably do a video about editing software. The Camtasia, which like I said is fantastic if you're doing screen recording, not so much for some other things. The Davinci Resolve, which by the way, Davinci Resolve is used by professionals in Hollywood. In fact, it's very expensive. And it's from a company called Blackmagic that makes cameras that cost $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. They sell hardware. This is a speed editor. It's one of the cheapest pieces of hardware they sell, and it's like $300. By the way, the only reason I have it is because it came with a copy of the software, which also cost $300. So it's like a no-brainer. I wanted the software. By the way, you can also use it for free. It doesn't do not everything, but most things. You can get by with the free version if you really want to. But anyway, again, I'll do a video about that down the road, and a while from now, not soon. So okay, that's behind the scenes audio. Come back next week, and maybe you'll get to see me in a car again. Won't that be unusual? Okay, have a great week. I'll see you next time.